This episode is brought to you by Bureau, our title sponsor. With 8 vibrant locations in Miami's best neighborhoods, Bureau is the perfect co-working place to work, network, and thrive alongside other entrepreneurs, creatives, professionals, and local businesses. Find your space at bureaumiami.com.
Well, welcome, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. We got connected by Mr. George Garcia.
Yes.
He was a guest on our podcast.
Oh, was that the Connect?
Yeah, that was the Connect.
That's awesome.
He's a great guy.
He's a character, huh?
Such a character. I love him.
I do too. Every time we run into him in all sorts of events, and I just always enjoy. He's just so funny, and
Have you been to his office?
Yeah, it's so cool, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk a lot about cinder blocks today, I think.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because all his furniture is made out of cinder blocks there, right? Like super practical. The tables, the drafting tables. Yeah. I went to his office probably 8 or 9 years ago, but I imagine that's what you're talking about too, right?
Same basic idea. I probably went then too, and I've seen it more recently, but they've got a music studio. They've got like an art gallery. Like there's just the artsy creative is alive in so many more ways than just the architecture. Yeah. So it's cool.
And he's always full of great stories.
He's always full of great stories. And it's like, it's in this like warehouse district, right? Like, and it's like a multi-bay warehouse. And he's just constantly just expanded it, cut holes into it and just, kept adding to. So he's probably, when I went, he had like 3 or 4 bays, I think.
Yeah. That's a super efficient way to grow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're here with Patrick Murphy.
Yeah.
Cheers. We're all drinking tequila.
Yeah. Welcome,
Cheers.
Patrick.
Cheers, guys. Oh, thank you.
Oh, this is mandatory.
Right.
Mandatory
Cheers.
intro. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
We talked to multiple marketing companies, and they're like, you really have to have a standardized intro. And we're like, yeah, we do. We cheers. Like, that's it. There's
toast. That's it.
It's the clinking of the glasses for me.
Yeah. Well, cool, Patrick. So we're stoked to have you here today because you guys, your family has had a big history here in Miami, in the construction business. And I think he's the first construction guy that we're going to have on the podcast.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
So we've been doing this for like 4 years, and you're the first construction guy.
Okay.
So
what's the bulk of guests typically?
A lot of developers,
architects, like George,
land use attorneys,
some attorneys.
Who else? Some brokers.
Yep.
Different asset classes. So
You're missing the good guys.
Yeah, the good guys, right?
The guys that actually build this shit.
Yeah. But the story of Coastal really started with your father, right?
Yes.
He was the founder of Coastal Construction.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about your dad and your mom. Are they from Miami? Where were their grandparents from?
Sure.
If you can give us a little bit about that background.
Yeah, it's a cool founding story. I mean, like every founding story, right? They all have their cool parts to them. So my grandfather was in the 101st Airborne in World War II.
Oh, wow.
So wasn't afraid of heights, came back after the war, was in D.C., and was painting radio towers, right? He wasn't afraid of heights, so no problem. Got a job down in Key West in like 1950. And
this is your granddad?
My grandfather.
Okay.
And went down to Key West and said, what am I doing living in D.C.? This is beautiful down here, right? It was fishing. It was all the Navy guys. It was a great life. So he moved his family down. My dad was, 2, 3, 4 years old. Grew up down in Key West, him and my Uncle John. And so they were surrounded by construction. My grandfather was a painter. My grandfather got into building. So always surrounded by the trades and construction. So my dad was a union laborer, then a union carpenter, went to University of Miami, and they were renovating the frat house he was living in, the Pike House. And he was social chairman, so he was living next to the head of the Pike House, and they were going to renovate the frat house. My dad said, well, gosh, I can do it. I'm a general contractor. Let me do it. Long story short, he ends up winning that bid, and he made, $10,000 or something. And he said, well, gosh, I'm rich, right? Why would I go to college? So he dropped out.
He dropped out of UM.
He dropped out. He's like, why do I need to be here? I got a construction company.
What did he go to study?
I don't even remember. I think he got an incomplete. I'm not sure how many classes he really made it to. I showed social chairman and building the frat house. I think that was his priority. So, so then he kind of left. One thing led to another. Continued to get more and more clients.
He started doing just mostly residential projects.
Residential, kind of a cool Miami story here is Stuart Miller, Lennar. His dad, Leonard Miller, was building houses, tract houses. houses, right, in South Miami. My dad was somewhat following him around and putting additions on and pool enclosures and had like a standardized addition that he would do because Leonard and them, they wouldn't do any changes.
Your dad was doing this.
So my dad would come behind them and do these modifications.
Was there a contract with Lennar, or
No.
this was just, hey, the
As far
house
as
is
I know,
built? Yeah,
exactly. He'd go to the owners and
Hey.
had this recipe
Yeah.
to build that pool enclosure or whatever, do some additions and modifications. So he was doing that. Started building some houses. One thing led to another. Got introduced to some folks in Ocean Reef, and at the time, my dad was racing offshore boats and won the national championship.
What year is this?
This is 1978.
Okay.
I think he raced 76, 77, 78, won the national championship, offshore championship. He was presented with an opportunity to drive for the Budweiser, Miss Budweiser. Huge opportunity, right? Back then, the 70s, offshore boat racing, right? Like, what a life.
Legendary time.
Legendary, right?
Yeah.
And all the characters, right? I mean, everyone knows all the cocaine cowboy stories, right? So he got to know all these guys living in Coconut Grove in the 70s, racing boats, going to the Mutiny and all these places
boy.
that you
we
read
need
about.
your dad on the
Oh,
podcast.
dude, he's so much cooler than me.
Yeah.
He's way more fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hanging out at the Mutiny. He's a cool guy.
He's a very cool
We're
guy.
gonna get him over here.
With Willie and Sal, huh?
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, so he knew all this. So anyway, had this great opportunity to go race for Budweiser. The same time, had an opportunity to move to Ocean Reef and build Ocean Reef. He had two boys. My two brothers were kids at the time, and he said to himself, "You know what? If I keep racing, it's not going to end well."
Yeah.
So he hung it up. He said, "I'm done. Won the championship. Go out on top.
I've done the Mutiny Hotel. I don't need to do anything else.
I'm going to Ocean Reef.
Yeah.
Very different lifestyle." And, that was, such an opportunity. He was a young man, I think probably mid-30s or so, and was surrounded by all these great, sort of titans of industry at the time, right? These great business leaders were coming to Ocean Reef, and he was a young man meeting them, early for breakfast and getting advice.
So let's talk a little bit about Ocean Reef, because I don't think everyone knows what it is, because we talked a little bit about it with Michael Fay, because he's got a place there, but when did the development of Ocean Reef really start?
So it was really like a fishing camp, right, in the 50s and 60s, and really informal place. And there was a group of guys, really from the Midwest, from Ohio primarily, that saw the charm in it and wanted a winter resort for themselves, and started building out the golf courses and started building out some of the infrastructure. And they had a group of sort of followers from the Midwest that were willing to sort of back them and follow them. And I believe it was, don't quote me, I think it was 5 guys originally that really kind of brought it to the next level. And it, at one point, was the most exclusive, private community in America, right? It was the wealthiest community in America.
I mean, it's got its own private airport too,
Private
doesn't it?
airport, yep.
Is it
18
single-family homes? Is it condos? Like, what is the...
It's about 5,000 acres in North Key Largo, and it is primarily single-family homes. You're either on a golf course or you're on the water, basically on some sort of a canal. So there's like no bad lot there. There are some condos, some apartments. There's, don't quote me, but there's 150 hotel rooms. As they've grown, they've gotten more into conventions and corporate retreats and that sort of thing. But great fishing, offshore, backshore, great golf, croquet, tennis, health, spa, wellness. You mentioned the airport. So it's kind of a turnkey place. Once you're there, there's a grocery store, there's a dry cleaner, there's a barber. You don't need to leave that island for the rest of your life if you don't want to. And it's, an hour from Miami. So you've got that opportunity as well. So 1970s, of course, was very different. It was very underdeveloped and there was really nothing there. So my dad had the opportunity to go build everything and be the contractor for Ocean Reef.
Oh, shit.
Which meant a lot of the commercial stuff, a lot of the hotels, a lot of the condos, a lot of the, the restaurants and all that, and started building a lot of those single family homes.
But that's a pretty big deal. I mean, your
Huge
dad,
opportunity.
your dad went to UM probably mid-60s. Is that
Yep.
what it was?
He was born in 48, so yeah, it would have
Yeah.
been, late 60s.
And then he got involved with Ocean Reef. When did he get involved with Ocean Reef?
1978, I believe, is when he moved there.
All right. So
Yeah.
10 years after he built the fraternity house or remodeled the fraternity house, he was building Ocean
He was down
Reef.
there. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was, in his, early 30s, mid 30s, and now.
How did he get connected with Ocean Reef?
I don't remember exactly who it was.
It was probably someone at the Mutiny who was hanging out.
Probably,
Right?
probably was. It was obviously Miami was a very different place, and it's still a small town, but it was really a small town then. And if I remember correctly, he'd built a house for somebody who was connected there, and I forgot the guy's name, but there's some connection there.
And is that where you grew up?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were born in Key Largo?
I was born in Key Largo. Yeah, I'm a Conch.
True Florida boy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Lived between Ocean Reef and then Key Largo, Isla Morada a little bit. And sort of as coastal grew beyond Ocean Reef, my dad started doing more and more construction throughout the Keys. Built a company called Seaboard that was actually self-performing a lot of work, concrete and drywall, flooring, et cetera, and had, I think, around 2,000 employees. Sold that company in the late 80s to Turner Construction, who you've heard of, largest contractor. And that's kind of a funny story too. I might as well tell it. This is good, kind of ties back to Ocean Reef. So my dad, he lives there in the island. He's doing all this work. And unlike, I don't know exactly, but it was like Christmas Eve. He gets a call from someone's house he'd built. And he goes to this guy's house and he fixes the AC, helps the guy out, gets it done. And the guy's like, you're the contractor. Like, how could you have done this? So you got this done in 24 hours. I had this big Christmas party. You saved the day. I was so worried. And, guy says, let me learn about your business. My dad, thinks he's like, all cool and successful, goes to breakfast with this guy. And guy's like, I ask him all these questions about his construction company. I got, X many employees and here's our revenues and, all proud. And then halfway through, my dad says, what do you do? He says, well, I'm CEO of Turner Construction. We do $10 billion of work or something, bigger than my dad was like. He's like, I felt like a shrimp, like I just shrank in my chair.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he ended up flying to New York and meeting his company, and that turned ultimately into an exit for his company.
Wow.
Which was interesting. And then that ultimately led to Coastal. My dad didn't know what to do when he wasn't working his whole life. He's just been a workaholic and loves work. He works, 8 days a week if there's such a thing.
Is
right?
he
That's
still
all
working?
He does. Still working.
Yeah.
He loves it.
How old's your dad now?
77.
Okay. Still goes into the office every day?
Still goes in the office or working, whether he's in the office or not.
He lives in Ocean Reef or where?
No, he's in Miami.
He's in Miami?
As well. Yep.
Okay.
And so then he really wasn't happy with life after selling Seaboard. He'd made a few bucks and everything, but wasn't happy because he didn't have that work.
Yeah.
So then he started Coastal.
No non-compete.
I don't know. It was a year or two. I don't know exactly
That's awesome.
the details.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in the Keys?
Yeah, I think you're the first person I've ever met that's grown up in the Keys.
Yeah,
You know what
same.
a conch is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you take it for granted being a kid there. Like you don't know the difference, obviously. But grew up, and being in Ocean Reef, you have a golf cart at 10 years old. You get a little golf cart license, which is crazy. The freedom, at 10
legend.
years old.
That's amazing.
Did you go to public school down there?
I went to Key Largo Elementary. Yeah, public school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say
There was a bus that came, picked us up.
I can't imagine there are any private schools down there.
There is a school there now. When I was there, I was always a little bit too old for it.
Gotcha.
So I went to Key Largo Elementary. There was a little bus, picked us up at the gate, and we went. But yeah, you have a golf cart, had a little run around, little dinghy, little boat. We'd go out to the mangroves and wakeboard and go swimming and diving, and that is just normal to me, right? That's just what you think is normal, and very lucky to have grown up in the Keys in that time.
So you're like a all well-rounded waterman, I would assume.
I love the water. Yes,
That's awesome. You still wakeboard?
No, I don't. I've gotten too old for that. Yeah, I prefer driving.
Ben's
the
too
boat
old,
now.
but he keeps doing it.
You still do it?
Oh yeah,
good
yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
I just bought a wakeboard company.
Oh,
School in Key Biscayne.
oh, very cool.
So I keep hurting myself constantly.
Yeah.
He's
but
blowing out both biceps, but keeps doing it.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ben, you know what they say in real estate, if people don't know you, they're not doing business with you.
Exactly. That's why the Built World podcast works with top of mind public relations, because being a best kept secret sure doesn't pay the bills.
Paula Uspa Abbott, the brains behind Top of Mind PR, is a former real estate journalist, so she knows exactly what makes the media pay attention.
And let's be real, getting in the press isn't just about bragging rights. It's about building credibility, landing deals, and making sure the right people know your name.
Whether it's top tier media coverage, killer storytelling, or just making sure you're the one people think of first, Top of Mind PR has you covered.
Want to stand out? Hit up topofmind-pr.com or email info@topofmind-pr.com.
Because in real estate, if you're not visible, you're invisible.
So growing up, were you like a little hustler? Like what were you into as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, growing up with a workaholic dad, it was always, what can you do? We'd go in the woods and we'd find golf balls. Always selling golf balls. That was probably my first business, was finding the tieless balls and selling those to all the golfers down there. We moved to Weston after Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew hit, as we all know, South Florida very hard, and business was growing. It was, sort of an opportunity at that point to expand. And as I began growing up, my parents didn't want me to continue going to school in the Keys. So Weston was a great opportunity. They thought at the time, moved there for a year or two, and then they didn't love that. So we moved to Miami, moved to Kendall, and I went to Palmer Trinity from 7th through 12th grade.
Yeah.
So then
Weston back then was kind of like, there was nothing going on there.
It was early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, beautiful planned community, but just very different than what my parents had been used to in Ocean Ridge.
Yeah. I can imagine. It's a shock for you too. You were how old when you moved from Key Largo to?
So it would have been 5th grade. How old are you then? I don't know.
10, 11?
12, yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. So we always had the place in Ocean Reef. We were back and forth, but we moved up there. All my cousins, uncle, everything moved up there. And it lasted about 2 years.
Did you feel landlocked going to Kendall? Miss the water?
Yeah, but as a kid, you
adapt quickly.
Yeah. You go with the flow.
What kind of what were you good at in school? Any subjects stand out?
I probably leaned more toward math naturally.
Yeah.
But I was, I guess, more somewhat equally rounded. But I leaned toward math. That would have been the strength.
Were you a good student?
I did okay. Yeah, I got A's and B's. Yeah.
Better than us.
Yeah. Another overachiever on the podcast.
Yeah.
Last thing we need on this podcast, Pat.
Growing up with a dad like yours, he's this workaholic construction guy. Like, did you have the idea to go into the family business? Did you feel pushed towards that, or did you have a different idea, a different track you wanted to take?
My dad was always so cool about it, and I guess I probably didn't even appreciate it at the time, but he has always been the type that, hey, follow your dreams, follow your heart, whatever you're passionate about, right? You want to be a bartender? That's awesome. Just be the best at it and work your ass off. You want to be an astronaut? Awesome. A doctor? You want to come to family business? That's great. Just work your ass off at it and make sure you enjoy it. Like, if it's not from here, nothing else is going to matter, no matter how much money you make if you're not happy. So in college, I was studying finance and accounting, and I wasn't sure, gosh, what am I going to do? And wasn't sure what next steps. I didn't exactly want to just go to the family business. Like, it was too obvious, right?
Where'd you go to school?
University of Miami.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so Dad said, gosh, you're doing the finance and accounting thing. Accounting's a great background. Why don't you pursue that? Because no matter what you end up doing, you always need accounting. So that's sort of how I ended up going down the CPA route, doing that. And I worked at Deloitte as a public accountant. Great experience, great background. I kind of look at that as like almost a master's degree, because you're just exposed to so much. You're working so many long hours. Our biggest client at the time was Lennar, back kind of full circle there. And then 2010 came around, and that's when the BP oil spill happened, right? And there was talk of that oil getting the loop current of the Gulf of Mexico coming through the Florida Keys. I was like, holy cow, local. I love the environment, nature, water, and ended up starting an environmental cleanup company, left Deloitte. To go be prepared to clean up that oil, and basically moved to New Orleans for several months. I don't remember, 6 months or so, trying to clean up oil. So,
did you find any oil to clean up?
There was plenty out there. Yeah, it was an interesting thing. We were like a sub of a sub, and like there was very few days we were even like allowed to go out there. It was a very controlled thing. It was almost like they didn't want pictures, cameras on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They started spraying the disbursement, remember, from the plane, I forgot what that was called, that chemical, to basically eat the oil and sink it. And what we were finding, it was still there. It was just like right under the water line. It was like just out of sight, out of mind.
Totally.
And it was very disappointing. We could have done a lot more, but it was a very lucrative contract. Through all those layers of subs, but did that for a while. And that, between dealing with Sarbanes-Oxley at Deloitte, public accounting.
And you were working here in Miami for Deloitte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Miami office. The reason I went to Deloitte was because I wanted to transfer with them to London or Hong Kong. I wanted to live somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And then the 2008, 9 depression hit, and Deloitte just wasn't moving anybody. So, all worked out. I stayed here, but that was ultimately why I ended up going with Deloitte, because I wanted to travel the world and work. So anyway, stayed here, oil spill thing, did that, and then that opened my eyes to government, and I got pissed off.
You got what?
Got pissed off.
Oh, because of the cleanup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we could have done more. It was right there.
Yeah.
Sarbanes-Oxley, same thing. I was pissed off. Like, there's just so much work that's going into it, wasted money, that's not going to prevent another WorldCom or Enron or another financial collapse. And I'm like, guys, we can do better as a government. And one of my best friends basically said, who the hell are you to complain? You know, you kind of challenged me, run for office. I'm like, fuck you. Like, what do you mean run for, like, what am I going to run for a school board or something? And so he's the one that encouraged me to run for Congress.
Okay, so you were how old when you ran for Congress?
I was 27 when I announced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 27, 28, yeah. So it was 2011, I guess. March 2011, I think, is when I announced. And
so you run for a seat, and you're representing what area?
So when I announced, good question, I was running against a guy named Alan West, who represented basically northern Miami-Dade, Broward, and southern Palm Beach County. And halfway through that race, they redistricted. So then he moved north to Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie County, a district that a guy named Tom Rooney had at the time. And Tom Rooney moved. So it was this whole, everyone moved districts. It all got, messed up.
Sounds like a lot of fuckery when they move these districts.
Dude,
like that. It's
total
like
fuckery,
moving lines.
Yeah.
And
whatever party's in control of the state house, it's basically their job to fuck the other party.
Yeah.
Redraw the lines that suits them better, right? Gerrymandering, in my opinion, is probably the single biggest problem in our country in politics. We don't have to get into that if you don't want, but I definitely saw it firsthand. So I moved. The guy I was running against moved. So I was like, all right, if you move, I move. So I ended up moving to Palm Beach, ended up winning that election in 2012. So I ended up living in Palm Beach.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, 'cause that's where the district was.
For how long?
For 6 years.
Ben, you and I are all about PropTech, and if there's one tool we absolutely cannot live without for our commercial real estate brokerage business, it's Vista.
Absolutely. Vista is incredible. We use it every single day, and we're always wondering, how do they do this? Every evening we get an email from them with real-time closed transactions. No more waiting around for months for the property appraiser to finally update.
Yeah, whether you're doing industrial, retail, office, land deals, they have every closed transaction. And it's not just the speed, Ben. The details are on point. Seller and buyer info, contact details, phone numbers, emails, everything is accurate.
It's hands down our top prospecting tool to farm for warehouse deals in Hialeah. Vista keeps us one step ahead always. It's also the best way to search for comps when putting together opinions of values for clients.
Head on over to Vista.com and use code BuiltWorld and get 30 days free access today. VIZZDA.com.
So what was it like? Like, did you have any idea what running for Congress even meant when you were 27? Like,
No.
I don't even know what that means now. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even, like...
So we're in a room like this, and I made the decision, okay, I'm going to do it. How do you start? So I called some friends that had been in office and said, where do I start? Well, you need a campaign manager. Okay, do you have one? Sure, I got one in mind. Met a couple people, did some interviews, met one guy, really liked him. He'd done it, several times, had some success, had gotten a few people elected to Congress. All right, you're my guy. Sat in a room like this on a whiteboard like that and started talking through, like, here's what you have to do, right? From whether that's the issues, mainly the fundraising, the calendar, the events, the staff, like everything, you've got to do. And it turns out running for Congress just means raising money. And being a member of Congress means just raising money. Like, I always joke with people, you're a telemarketer with a really cool title. That's what the job is.
So you were in Congress for how long?
2 terms.
2 terms. Yeah. How much money did you raise during that time?
So my first congressional race was the most expensive in history at the time. It was about $30 million. We raised 5. Our opponent, Alan West, raised like $25 million.
And you beat him?
We beat him, yeah. There's a rule of diminishing returns in every election.
What's this guy doing with that money? I want to know. I mean,
Good question.
$20 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably hanging out at 11 with Michael Simpkins every night.
We could sell him some ads.
Right?
Yeah. And then, I don't remember the next race. It was probably, 5 to 10 million. And then the Senate race against Rubio was like 200, 250.
So you ran against you ran against Rubio.
Yep. So I did 2 terms in the House.
Yeah.
And
you were the youngest, weren't you?
I was the youngest at the time. Yep.
29. I said you were the youngest. In 2013, the youngest member of the House of Representatives.
Yep. Youngest congressman at the time. And honestly, it's like starting college. There's 89 new members of Congress. Ron DeSantis was in my class, and a lot of folks that are still around. And you get there, and it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, like everyone, you're learning, right? You're naive, you want to change the world, you're optimistic about what you can do. And it was a cool experience, but very quickly you learn that, number one, the institution is just bigger than you. And the politics become more important in many ways, because ultimately people learn right off the bat that what matters is you coming back. that it's a 2-year term that flies by. And if you want to get anything done, you need to be there several years to get your policy and get to a chairmanship or get to a position. So
When you mean several years, you mean more than...
you need to serve like several terms before you can really be in a position of seniority, before you can get legislation passed.
And you were there 2 terms. And how many, is there a term limit?
Nope, no term limits.
Dang.
Yeah.
Interesting. So as a, you said mainly the job's raising money. Why can't you get any legislation pushed through? Just because you're too young, no one listens to you, or like how does that work?
Yeah, it's very much a seniority-driven institution, and in order to get well, there's a lot of reasons, but in order to get a bill passed, you've got usually to get the support of leadership in, say, the committee that you're in. Maybe it's the Ways and Means Committee or Infrastructure, whatever it might be. So you got to get it through a committee. Then you got to get it to the full House. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of bills filed. So you've got to be lobbying and get the support that your bill is the one that's important to get brought up. And what happens is obviously the younger members aren't prioritized because they're new and no one knows them or cares much. And in my particular case, I'll give you a quick story. Number one thing that I ran on and wanted to get done was getting our fiscal house in order, right? Being a CPA seemed obvious, like, hey, let's cut waste, fraud, and abuse, tax reform, and let's make sure that Social Security and Medicare are actually going to be there for years to come, and whatever needs to be done to ensure that, let's have that honest conversation. And
It's a terrible idea.
yeah, crazy. So we got a group of like 30-some members of Congress, Republican and Democrat, to agree that this made sense. And we're like, oh, this is easy. Like brand new, freshman members of Congress. We got a bill, getting ready to, introduce it 3 months later. And one of the Republicans I was working with came to me like the night before we were going to, propose the legislation. And he said, look, I can't work with you anymore. So what do you mean? We've been working on this for months. I said, well, Speaker Boehner said that we can't work with you because you're in a tough seat and we want to beat you. So we're not going to let you have any wins. We don't want any legislation to pass with your name on it because it might, God forbid, make you look good for your reelection. So you're not getting anything through. Sorry, maybe in 6 years or something, come
cold
back.
Hard reality just hit you.
Cold. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's
all
how
this
it works.
work? Like, what is it? And again, that's not like a partisan statement. Like, Democrats do that to Republicans. It doesn't matter. It goes both ways. But you're sitting there like, I'm working 100 hours a week for that? Like, give me a break.
It's a game.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about what's good or bad or important.
Exactly. Unfortunately. So point is, you got to get to that place where you're chairman. You can dictate what the bills are. You got to be typically in the majority. So now the speaker says, oh, you're the guy with the bill. I know you want to get it done. You've been here 10 years. You deserve it. We're going to bring that forward. I'm simplifying it, but that's usually the way it works. Now you can co-sponsor and sign on and help out, but to really get something done in Congress, you got to put your time in. You got to be there for the long haul.
And how many Congress people are there in Florida?
I don't know right now. I think it's like 20 some right now. I think it's 27 in Florida. Okay. I think it's going up to 29 or might have gone up to 29. I don't even track it as much as I used to.
Some of you might know that I'm in the middle of building a Live Local project right now, and finding an internet provider was way more annoying than it should have been. Endless acronyms, pricing all over the place, and me chasing these guys for proposals. Then luckily, I came across Celerity Fiber, South Florida's boutique internet provider for new developments and multifamily communities. Working with them feels like working with a company your friend owns. They actually answer calls and texts, send quotes fast, and are genuinely great to work with. Celerity designs and installs fiber internet built for modern living. Fast, reliable, and ready from day one. From luxury high-rises to affordable communities, they deliver high-speed, scalable internet with white glove service and local support. The kind big internet service providers just can't match. So if you want to future-proof your property and keep your residents happy, check out celerityfiber.com. That's spelled Celerity, fiber.com, and let them know the Built World sent you. Celerity Fiber, powering connections, elevating experiences. At that point, were you disenchanted with the whole thing? You were like, I'm over it. I don't want to play this game anymore. Or what was kind of your mental framework after that happened? Did you want to just put your time in Congress and go down that path, or what was kind of the next move?
Well, then you took a run at Senate, right?
Yeah. So a couple things. There was that experience, and then there was another sort of interesting one. I went to Afghanistan in, I think it was 2014. With Michelle Bachmann. I don't know if you remember her. She was a Tea Party leader. On paper, we would have been sort of opposites. But we go to Afghanistan. I think it was 6-7 members of Congress. And it was a great trip. We got to meet, our troops, got to meet the generals, got to, see everybody. And we all got along. There were great questions asked. There was real policy discussions. super respectful conversation. And on the way home, flying back, I'm sitting next to this lady, Michelle Bachman, and like, we're watching a movie, she's crying, I'm like wiping her tears. I'm like, wow, I got a new friend. Like, this is so cool, you know, like, this is great. She's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. Like, you know, we're gonna get something done. And we get back and we do this like press conference, and basically she just started ripping apart President Obama. You know, he's a terrorist and we're all going to die and Democrats are the worst. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We just spent 4 days together in Afghanistan and there was like zero partisan, you know, conversation. And I realized all of a sudden that she was performing to the camera. And the reason I said gerrymandering is the single biggest problem in our country is because of this, because 90% of congressional districts are predetermined. They're going to be Republican or Democrat. And 12% of people vote in primaries. So 12% of our country is determining 90% of our members of Congress. And so if you are in Congress or you want to get elected, the only thing you got to do is appeal to those 12%. That's all that matters. And who's that 12%? Typically, they're more extreme on the left or on the right. And so in her case, she could have been the most moderate person ever. It's almost not her fault, but she had to appeal to that 12% and give them the red meat they're looking for, that Barack Obama's the worst, you know, whatever she had to say to appease them. And nothing else mattered. And I'm like, I started making the joke that like DC's Hollywood for ugly people because you're just actors. You're just playing to the camera. It doesn't really matter what you believe because you just got to win re-election. And so it all starts from that gerrymandering that's broken and people playing to the extremes.
It's a popularity contest.
So those experiences then kind of made me say, you know what? Great institution, humbled to be here, was able to help constituents, do some great stuff for veterans and seniors, you know, really cool stuff. But I made the decision I'm either going up to the Senate, 6-year term, not as much fundraising, more sort of thoughtful institution, or I'm out. One way or the other, I'm happy with that, but I'm not doing Congress and just fundraising my whole life. So that was the decision in 2016 to run. Ultimately, you know, Rubio had run for president. He was sort of out of the race. I wasn't really running against him. I was running in an open seat. He decided when he lost the primary to Trump that he was going to come back to the Senate. So then we ended up running against each other in 2016.
How'd you do against him?
Good. You know, the whole premise was basically that, you know, people vote top of the ticket. So if Hillary, we needed Hillary to win Florida by 2 points over Trump at the time. And the polling all looked really good. She was up 2-3 points. It was like, there's no way. Remember 2016, there's like, no way Trump's going to win. So she's polling up. So we were like dead even with Rubio because Hillary was up. Hillary ended up losing Florida by 2 points. And so we lost by, 4 or 5. Like,
Okay,
we did
pretty close.
So it ended up being close, but it was again, the top of the ticket dictates these things in a presidential. But look, Rubio had way more money, way more name ID, et cetera, et cetera. So it was obviously a tough race, but happy to be where I'm at now.
Yeah, so what happened after that? You lose the Senate race? And now
How old are you when you lose the Senate race?
So I would have been 34.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
You're done with politics at this point.
Done
You're
with politics.
I'm over it.
I thought
Are
about...
you married?
Nope, single.
Single?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was easier to be single in D.C.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Get the drinks flowing. We'll get some good stories.
Please.
So
Fill them up.
We got a jug of tequila here.
So I thought about running for governor in 2018. And what I was thinking about was running with a former Republican colleague of mine, David Jolly, who was a Republican congressman. I was a Democrat. And we were thinking of running for governor on a split ticket basis.
That'd have been cool.
I love that.
Hey, like,
I do too.
Like, we're not that different at the end of the day,
No.
Republicans and Democrats. Like, who are we kidding here?
And by the way, I saw that you described, I don't know if you described, I think you described yourself as fiscally responsible, socially progressive.
Yeah.
I feel like that's 90% of our generation. Like it's
so
both
do I.
sides. But everyone gets caught up in their, social media echo chambers. But it's really, that's everyone. But I love that idea, the split ticket.
So we said, look, let's prove to people that we can do this. And that if the two of us can agree on 90% of the issues, then society should be able to, and it'd be a really cool way to govern. Ultimately, obviously, we didn't end up doing it. I don't know, would have been an interesting sort of thought experiment if nothing else to do that. So anyway, got close to doing it, didn't, but family business, right? I was back at Coastal. And I was thinking, do I lobby? Do I run for office? Do I, try to like stay around or, go to work in some administration at some point? But But the more I was in the family business, the more it was just excited to be back with my family, right? Work with my brothers, my uncles, cousins are all there, my dad. And, as we all know here in South Florida, there's so much opportunity. So started looking at some ways we could diversify the business, right? So much, it was just, heads down, construction, which has been awesome. But hey, there's some other opportunities out there that maybe we should be exploring. So that became sort of my focus, is diversifying the business.
Felipe, ever since we moved into Bureau, my productivity has been through the roof. I might actually be getting things done for once.
The energy at Bureau just makes work fun. Plus, with 8 locations across South Florida, from South Miami all the way to Hollywood, there's no excuse for not finding a spot to get your shit done, Ben.
And we're not alone. Over 500 local companies call Bureau home. Everything from creative agencies and real estate firms to tech startups, law firms, and media companies. It's a melting pot of brilliant people, and we don't include ourselves in that category.
We definitely don't include ourselves in that category. Bureau really has space for anyone, whether you're flying solo or have a team. There are suites starting at 100 square feet all the way up to 2,000 square feet. They also don't try to lock you into long-term agreements, and everything is month to month.
Let's not forget the important stuff either. The coffee is top tier, staff is incredible, and has a very entrepreneurial vibe. It's not just a workspace, it's a place where work actually gets done.
That's right, Ben. So if you want to level up your workday like we try to do every day, check out Bureau. You might even catch us sipping some espressos between podcast sessions.
Or tequila.
Definitely tequila.
Tell Bureau the Built World sent you, and you'll get 50% off your first month's membership. See you out there. Cheers.
Later. So let's talk a little bit about construction, but then I definitely want to talk about the other businesses that you diversified in. What is kind of Coastal's like core? Where are they making most of their money? What types of, is it infrastructure? Is it
vertical construction, high-rise construction primarily is probably 90% of our revenues.
Okay.
And most of that, because it's Florida, is residential.
Yep.
Right? So comes in waves, but right now it's more condos than apartments. But I think the tide will turn with interest rates coming down and go back to more apartments. But right now it's a lot of condos. We have a division that focuses on more affordable workforce housing. Have thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of those units that we're looking at in that workforce category, and then quite a bit on the high end side. I think we have 2 St. Regis's under construction right now, multiple Four Seasons, Ritz-Carltons, the Bentley Tower. A lot of these sort of big brand names that, as we all know, in Florida are just popping up everywhere. So
you're doing Gail Desert's Bentley?
We are doing Gail's.
We had Gail here about 2 months ago.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
he's cool.
But I always see your signs in front of the sexiest towers. It's always the Coastal sign. Like the sickest tower, it's like Coastal, of course. Yeah.
That Aston Martin in downtown, that was pretty cool.
That building's insane.
Yeah, it's a cool building.
That's really cool.
Yeah. A lot of very unique properties that Miami skyline's changing, right? It's coming a long way. So it's cool to see the new architects and developers spending the money and people willing to pay some premium prices for great projects.
Yeah.
Does Coastal have a favorite project type, or?
No,
I guess that's a very loaded question. So you can use your politics hat for that answer.
Yeah, look, it's. I think probably most contractors would say the same thing. It's really all about the relationship with the client.
Yeah.
Right. As my dad always says, you can't make a bad deal with a good guy or a good deal with a bad guy.
Right.
If client's bad, it just doesn't matter what the contract says. But we've been blessed to have some awesome clients, and we're definitely the mindset of a handshake, and we're going to figure it out in the job, and we're completely transparent and open book. And I'd say, 80-90% of our work is repeat business. It's the same clients that are continuing to scale and grow, and we're trying to grow with them throughout the state. Looking at some stuff up in Jacksonville right now, looking at even and beyond that as we hopefully continue to grow with some of our clients.
So good. Let's talk a little bit about that. So most of your business is Miami-Dade County?
I'd say the 2 coasts, right? From Palm Beach to Miami, right? That coast is crazy. And then Tampa, St. Pete, down to Naples.
Oh, yeah. You guys do a lot of stuff out there as well.
Do a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you guys are starting to see some other projects. Where you said
Jacksonville.
What are you guys seeing up there?
Some condos, some multifamily. I haven't seen much office up there yet, but I'm sure it's bound to happen. I don't know how much time you spent in Jacksonville, but
0. I went there once 10 years ago. I'm like, why does anyone live in this place? The downtown was a disaster. It was like,
I've never been. I don't think
you're not missing anything.
It's got the bones of a Tampa, of a Miami, of all the big cities. It just hasn't turned that corner yet. It's a very horizontal city.
Yeah.
It's very spread out.
I don't know if it'll ever turn that corner, man.
Is it on the water?
It's on the water.
It's on the water. There's a river that goes right through it.
Sounds like Austin, kind of.
Man,
Yeah, spread out.
Yeah.
You got Shad Khan, owner of the Jaguars, that owns the team. The stadium's like right there, basically in downtown, and he just built a really cool Four Seasons project
In Jacksonville?
In Jacksonville, beautiful Four Seasons, right on the river. And now you got like a lot of big brands, big companies. The cool thing about it is it's a lot more affordable than Miami,
Yeah.
Tampa, Orlando, a lot of these cities. So there's just a lot of great affordable housing for people that want a little bit of land and want their family, and some great, job opportunities. It doesn't have the sex appeal of Miami or
No.
Tampa, or it doesn't have that, but it's a nice lifestyle.
Does the
different.
affordability come from the ability to build more garden style, like more horizontal versus vertical? Because I feel like vertical construction's gotten so expensive to the point that it's hard to make any deals pencil on the multifamily side. On the condo side, it makes sense because you can sell $2,000-3,000 a foot, doesn't matter. But on the rental side, it's just the cost of concrete and rebar is
They don't pencil.
right.
You're spot on. What's working in Jacksonville, why we're seeing some of them, is the land costs are quite a bit less, and they are the city is giving out a lot more incentives up there to just get some more inventory going. They're starting to see a lot of demand. A lot of big businesses are looking for that residential and sort of urban core to develop. And so there's been some really cool projects that have been built recently there. So combination land costs, grants to get it going. I imagine with interest rates being pushed or forced or whatever down 25, 50 basis points, I'm sure in the coming months, we're going to see apartments start to come back more. But you're right, it's skinny on the books.
Because in Miami, it's virtually impossible.
Virtually impossible.
It's pretty gnarly to get deals to make sense here.
Yep.
And it's even, from the equity markets, the returns they want to see, even if the land was free, the construction costs just aren't penciling.
They don't pencil. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after COVID, right, we saw a huge spike, and it's pretty much plateaued here and there. There's some drops, but there's still these like random surges you'll see with, I think, continued uncertainty in the macro environment.
Have you, you like alternative building types and exploring different things. Have you found any has Coastal ever explored alternative construction types that would be cheaper to build, like prefab or anything like that? It's all been out there forever, but none of it's ever been proven. It's all kind of faded away. Like, what was it? Katera was supposed to do it, and they kind of evaporated. And
So my dad spends 90%, I shouldn't say that. He spends a lot of his time now on a composite building system called Renco.
Oh, cool.
It's a new building
this is super
system.
cool. It's the
Lego blocks.
The Lego blocks.
Yeah. So it's a building system. Think of it as a replacement for concrete, metal, or wood for the structure of the building.
And your dad's spending a lot of time on this?
Dad's spending a lot of time on it. And it's recycled glass, recycled plastic, calcite like a limestone does, and then a resin that holds it together. So it's kind of like a fiberglass in some ways. It's got these like threads, right? This weave, but it's really, really strong. And so we learned about this product in 2010. And basically took 10 years, unfortunately, because the bureaucracy in the system to get all the approvals from the fire, the off-gassing, the hurricane approvals in South Florida, the seismic testing for California, right? All the sound, right? All these different tests we had to do, like I think 430 tests or something we had to do in like a sequential order. So it took a decade to get this stuff approved. But that's now probably our biggest asset is that we've got these approvals. So if any competitor wanted to come along, you're either violating our patent or you got to go through that same decade of approval. So we are very adamant that construction is going to change. Obviously, we're biased toward our product. However, I would say in the next 10 years, you're going to see a very different construction environment because of the affordability crisis we have that is going to mandate that we start to move more toward a manufactured setting of construction, a more off-site construction, more modular, more sort of prefab construction, things built in a factory, in essence, brought in, whether that's pods for bathrooms and kitchens, whether that's wall panels, because we're going to have to get a lot more efficient with it and start to consolidate the costs with everyone just getting their, whatever percentage along the way. Because look, land costs are what they are. Material costs sort of are what they are. So you've got to find some place to compress costs.
What's up, Builties? We're interrupting the podcast because we want to make some money together with you guys. We have a lease coming up that we're representing the landlord on. It's in East Hialeah. This thing is sweet, Ben.
it's a really sick warehouse. I mean, probably one of the nicest warehouses we've ever. It is the nicest warehouse we've ever been in.
Probably been the nicest warehouse we've ever been in.
This thing's got 25,000 square feet of total space, 5,000 feet on 2 floors of Class A office. I mean,
Class A-ish, industrial.
dude, no, this is sick. This is a sick office. office.
It is a sick office.
It's the sickest office I've seen in industrial space.
Yeah.
Marble floors, really nice bathrooms. These guys built it out for themselves, but aren't ready to occupy this space yet. So they hired us to find a short-term tenant looking for a 3-year lease term on this thing. $18 a foot modified gross. The 20,000 square feet of the industrial space has 19-foot clear ceiling heights, and everything's brand new. Brand new LED lighting. Everything's clean. 2,400 amps of power, 3-phase, more than you could ever use. It's a beast.
Fully air conditioned too.
Fully AC.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're looking for a short-term lease. They're super reasonable. If you got a tenant, reach out to us.
Cheers.
But with the Renco blocks, I mean, what's the cost of one Renco block compared to the cost of a cinder block? Because it's virtually one for one, right?
So you got to look at it as a system, because as you know, in concrete, right, it's not just that cinder block.
It's the rebar.
It's the rebar.
Yeah.
It's the foundation. It's the pouring the cells. It's forming, right, the concrete. Right, and then you got to get the inspection for the rebar. So it's that system. So we look at it apples to apples. So you got a 3-story concrete building, 3-story wood building, 3-story Renco building. So number one, Renco is going to be built in 1/8, 1/6 the time. It's way faster.
By the way, it's Renco, and what's the website?
renco-usa.com.
Okay.
Renco.
And you guys
USA.
own that? That's
We do.
your okay.
Yeah, we have a partner in it, some investors in it, and it's a great building system. And so inventors out of Turkey invented there, built a bunch of buildings there, big factory there, tariffs, COVID, all that shit happened. Decided we needed a factory here in the U.S. So we have a factory in Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, cool.
That is big enough to produce enough block to build around 7,000 houses or apartments a year.
Wow.
So that is basically open for production. We delivered a 96-unit apartment, a couple homes recently. So we're just getting that thing ramped up right now.
And what is the cost differential between traditional construction?
So time faster. Cost is around 20% less expensive than concrete because you don't have the rebar. There is no poured cells. There is no rebar. It's one trade. It's one material. So your decking, your headers over your windows and doors, your roof, everything is one system. And the heaviest piece on a 96-unit building that we built was like 80 pounds. So there's no crane, right?
Oh, wow.
You and I, the three of us, can literally go build a 100-unit apartment, just the three of us, by stacking these blocks in a short period of time. You just stack them up and they all fit together, right? As Legos, as a male and a female end, so they snap together.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's super efficient.
Sounds like a great
easy.
workout.
And how do they lock in?
And because of wind and uplift in South Florida, we developed a glue system that creates a chemical reaction in the material, and it becomes monolithic, actually. So it's like a weld. So anyway, we put the block down, you put a glue seam down the middle, stack the block, in 60 to 90 minutes, that's cured. Boom, go to the next one, go to the next one. You stack them up.
How much does each one of these blocks weigh?
80 pounds, you said? Or
That's
depends
the
on type?
heaviest. That's the joy.
Okay.
So the basic block is 8 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Concrete block?
35.
Exactly. So on that standard size.
You want to ask me how I know that?
Lifted a few.
So this is a funny story because I started a company called Cinderfit.
Okay.
Ben and I and a couple other buddies during the pandemic were working out with cinder blocks.
Okay.
And I had in my backyard, I had shelving made out of cinder blocks like George Garcia had.
Uh-huh.
And so we didn't have anything to work out with, and I had like 15, 20 cinder blocks in my backyard. We started working out with cinder blocks. We're like, holy shit, you can do so many things with this thing. So we actually developed a fitness product.
No way.
That has the same dimensions of a cinder block, but we developed a 15-pounder, a 25-pounder, a 35-pounder, and a 55-pounder. And so I have great appreciation for the cinder block. And its versatility for construction, for
test of time, right?
It's a test of time. There's so many things you can do with it. And then, okay, so you can build 20% less
money.
But have you guys built any warehouses? We're industrial brokers.
Have not. So unfortunately, we can do it, but it's not the highest and best use. I don't want to lie to you. The reason is we are best suited when you can use Renco for 100% of the building. And when we have long spans for a warehouse that's maybe 50 or 100 feet, whatever, for the big bays, you end up introducing an aluminum, metal roof system. And so you can do that, but then you just start to lose some of the benefits of it because you got the Renco walls, you got this aluminum roof, and it just becomes, not ideal. So in Turkey, in the Middle East, we've done warehouses, we've done all sorts of things, but it's on highest and best use.
And how do the banks treat it? Because I feel that's one of the things when I used to look at prefab, that was one of the big issues was banks weren't valuing prefab the same way they would CBS construction. So there's always this issue of, will the bank value it the same? Will it appraise the same, et cetera?
So far, they've been really leaning on all the approving agencies. And as long as we have all the engineering reports and have approved, they've been, now, it's not like we have millions of data points here, right? But so far, it hasn't been a problem. In fact, our insurance has been around 50% less expensive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's so light, it's so easy, and the lifespan of this stuff, like wood is like 25 years, concrete's like 40 years. I think we're like, a few hundred years.
Oh, dang.
Right? Because it's just, the stuff is, you can't penetrate it. Termites don't eat it. Water doesn't mess with it.
So no need for the 40-year recertification here in Miami.
No need for that. Yeah. No, it's true.
They're still going to get you, though.
So when you came back to the family business and you said you started looking at, diversification,
Yep.
what did you start getting your hands on? Was it this that you started getting into, or was?
So Renco was underway with the approvals. It's something I'd been working on actually in 2010 before I'd run for Congress.
Okay.
When we were doing the oil spill stuff, that was just happening. If you remember, the earthquake in Haiti had happened.
Yep.
So we flew down there and we're looking at ways we could help and build, and that's part of how we found Renco, was looking for ways we could help out. So you had Haiti, you had the earthquake, you had the oil spill, Renco, all these things happening. So anyway, I leave, I do the political thing, I come back, Renco's still going, getting these approvals. So that, started looking at an office for our company. Hey, can we, maybe go build our own office? Hopefully we're gonna be in business a long time. Why keep paying rent? Let's go own, our own space. Started looking at some real estate, some development opportunities, some apartments, just some basic stuff. And started going through our financials. Say, hey, what can we do as a company to be more efficient? Coastal's been blessed to grow, and like most construction companies, doing things the same old way. So I started going through our financials with our CFO and saw the biggest piece of overhead in our construction company was estimating. And as I started looking through that, like, hey, if we're going to do something innovative, let's go for the big number, right? Start in the big piece of the pie. We realized that takeoffs, right, the square foot analysis was the single biggest driver of those estimating costs, that our team was spending 50 to 60% of their time coloring and counting. Right? Contractors are always getting plans and we're asked to price it. How do we do that? We get a PDF and we sit there and we determine with a mouse, right, clicking on a PDF, how much carpet there is, right? How much baseboard, how much paint and drywall and light fixtures and HVAC and windows and doors and everything else. And, on a building like this that we're in, that's a 3-4 day project for somebody. So the thesis was, well, hell, if a human can look at the plans and see the difference in the bedroom and the bathroom and the hallway or whatever, so can a computer if you train it. So we did some research and we found out nobody was doing this in construction. I'm like, holy shit, like how often in life are you the first to have an idea like this? This is great. So we started filing some IP, some patents, started building a team, and wanted to build a machine learning company that you could upload plans and with a click of a button get all of your quantities for every trade that you would need to build in seconds instead of days or weeks. So built a company called Togal.AI, Togal.AI, which means builder in Gaelic, the Irish, I'm Irish, obviously. In the Irish language, it means builder, and it ends in AI. So anyway, we started this AI company to automate takeoffs.
Wow, that's really cool.
And when did you found this company?
2019.
So that was like right before the whole AI thing.
Yeah, it was a couple of years before, yeah.
I feel like AI really became a big buzzword in like 22.
Yeah.
Post-COVID was when ChatGPT came out.
We had a good head start on it. And, that's really more like around language, right? The large language models. Ours is machine vision. So it's still our own proprietary models. We, in many ways, built a foundational model for construction. We have millions of construction documents now that are labeled that we've trained this foundational model on. So it's a really cool proprietary platform. Now we use GPT and Gemini for like some things we add on with their API, but generally it's our own proprietary system still. So yeah, it's really cool.
This episode is brought to you by Built World Advisors. Advisors. Yeah, that's us. We're not your typical commercial brokerage. We combine deep market knowledge with a media platform that actually connects to people doing deals, the developers, brokers, architects, and attorneys.
Let's not forget the investors, Ben. From warehouses in East Hialeah to off-market gems in Allapattah, we help you find value where others aren't looking. If you're tired of waiting for opportunities to land in your inbox, let's talk.
Built World Advisors, real estate for the people who get shit done. You can check us out at builtworldadvisors.com. You go from politics to construction to machine learning. Like, where do you even start with that? How do you find
curious
developers?
because I started a software company called Gridix. We spoke about that briefly.
Yeah.
So, and Ben and I actually first met at Gridix. So you're like, okay, I have this idea. You're the founder of this company. Who's your first hire?
First hire was, technically, I'd call him a co-founder, Johnny. He's an estimator at Coastal. Young man, technical, smart, really savvy, knew the problem inherently that we were trying to solve. Then it was immediately tech. And we had some bumps in the road finding our first technical sort of CTO.
So where'd you go to? Who'd you find? That? Were they onshore or are they offshore?
The individual was here but had a team originally in Macedonia.
Okay.
That didn't end up working out.
Can't imagine. The time zone thing is terrible.
Didn't you guys have coders in Ukraine?
We had coders in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
That was challenging because there are people, our Adam was staying up till midnight, 2:00 in the morning to talk to these people.
It's tough
rough.
for most.
It's rough.
So we ended up getting a CTO that was Ukrainian, in fact, but living in Germany. And then he's built a team. We're now like over 80 employees. I think 20 some on the tech side of things, machine learning experts and data labelers and all that. And it was 3 years of development and a lot of bumps in the road because it's never been done before.
And you guys raised money for this?
We raised money for it.
How much money did you guys raise, can you say?
To date, we've raised 10, 11 million.
Okay.
Yeah, but that first round, we raised 2 million. Like every company, like, raise $2 million and we'll have a product in a year or two. Well, it took a little longer,
and
a little
you guys
more
raised money from Florida founders?
Yeah, so that was a funny story. We heard about this event called Emerge in Miami, right?
Yep.
Big tech event, right? It was like 1,200 startups, and it was in Miami. I'm like, shit, let's enter it, right?
Yeah.
So we enter it. And I think there were, however many thousand startups, and did a Zoom, and they brought it down to 100, and we made that top 100. Like, oh, that's cool. And then we made the top 50, top 25, and they said, look, the top 5 get to present on stage. So we made it to that top 5, and Mr. Wonderful, right? O'Leary was one of the judges, and this guy Judge. Anyways, it was a cool panel, and we presented, and we ended up winning first place in that competition, and that came with $420,000, and a lot of press and notoriety and all that, and Florida Funders was the main backer of that, so they became our first VC technically. Vis-a-vis through the winning of that award.
Gotcha.
And now we've gotten to know them, and they've continued to reinvest in
Did you have to negotiate with them?
We did.
Was that before you signed up for Emerge or after? How did that work?
It's funny how those things go. I feel like you have some inside information here. You sign up for these awards, like, you don't read, like, oh, yeah, we're going to win. Like, who knows? Or you don't even think you're going to win, right? It's just like you saw.
Here's $400,000. Gotcha.
Yeah.
We got 80% of your company.
Yeah, basically. It was like, it was like, wait a minute. Like, we've already raised money, like, I don't know, a $20 million valuation. And I don't remember exactly, but they wanted in at $1 million or $5 million valuation.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, we already have investors. It was tough. But they were awesome to work with. And we negotiated a deal with them, and they've been awesome. And they're on the board now. So they've got a good stake of the business, but we're really excited to have them on the
So
team.
you've raised almost $10 million so far?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's the capital raising process been? Is it similar to like raising money for Congress, or like?
I feel like
It's probably easier to get money for Congress, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know what I did like in a previous life to like have this life of just like raising money.
Raising money
Just all
sucks.
I do. I don't know what happened, but that's all I'm doing is raising money, talking to VCs. It is funny though how similar politics and startups are. Right? Like you've got an idea, you believe in something, and politics, you're going to run for, you're passionate. You got to go and like get this team to believe in you, and you don't have like a lot of money to like pay them, or there's really not a lot to offer, but hey, they believe in this idea, and you're working hard. It's long hours, you're hustling, you're doing whatever you can to make it work, and then like the primary is kind of like your MVP, like your basic first product, right? And like you don't really know what's going to happen. You have a poll, or you've talked to some customers, but as you grow and you go to market, like it starts maturing, and now you have a little more money, you can grow the team. Now you're in office. But anyway, you're fundraising all the time, just like politics. So the good part about it is, number one, you can offer a return. Politics, you're not offering a return to people. It's like the goodness of their heart. They believe in you and you're going to change the world. The difference is a lot bigger. In politics and Congress, it was like, I don't know, $5,000 checks. Now, we're collecting, multi-million-dollar checks, right? So it's a little bit different, but there is an ROI at least associated with it.
So who's the market for Togal.AI?
General contractors and subcontractors. It's about 60% of our clients are GCs around the world. We're in 32 countries, but primarily in the US. Subcontractors, so drywall, paint, floor, electric, some shell, windows, doors, and some carpentry is where we excel for Togal.
So basically, you guys figured out a way to save people time to measure the quantities of construction materials and labor on plans.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's super scalable. Every construction company in the world has to bid their next job. Yeah. Whether you're a painter and you're a sole proprietor, you're the biggest contractor in the world. If you're Turner, right, you've got hundreds of estimators. And the biggest, toughest part of that job is getting those quantities right. And you do it on every set of plans and every set of revisions, right? Because you don't know what's changed. So you got to keep doing it over and over. So the thesis is, let's take all that counting and sort of just the fundamentals of the quantification, do that in seconds. So now the humans can use their brains on the more valuable tasks, like the value engineering and the scoping, the bid leveling, all those things.
And how do you guys charge? It's a monthly subscription?
We charge, it's annual, right? But it's $3,600 per seat per year, unlimited usage. So simple SaaS licensing model.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's a $3,600 a year.
Yeah.
And you guys have how many clients?
$300 a month.
How many clients do you guys have now?
We've got 2,000 companies. We've got about 10,000 users.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys charge per license?
Per license, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And is Togal is it affiliated with Coastal? Is Coastal, or is it your own thing?
Totally standalone, totally separate cap table, board, everything is totally independent. Like the idea was because, we worked at Coastal and we saw it, but originally we thought, well, maybe we should keep it in Coastal. Like, sure, maybe Coastal could save $1 million or $2 million a year on not doing, that's great. But then it was like, well, who cares? Like the whole world needs this. Like that's a much bigger opportunity than just Coastal. So then we said, look, let's spin it out. Let's go raise some money. Let's try to grow this thing. This is a cool opportunity.
And are you Togal full time now? Are you still at Coastal?
Yeah, I'm Togal's. Yeah, that's where I spend most of my time. We spun a company out of Togal with Mike Sheehan, SLS, called Togal.AI. And so in Togal, we can give us the plans for this building. We'll tell you the hallway, right? The rooms, the bathrooms, the egress, the stairs, like all that. So the idea was, well, gosh, we can do fire, life safety, ADA compliance like that, because that's all based on those parameters. And there's a couple hundred tests basically that are standardized around the country. Egress, where's the sign? How, 300 feet to the exit, travel distance, right? All these things. And so we spun out another company that uses Togal's engine to interpret the plans, but this company is focused on those fire, life safety, ADA codes. So when you go to submit your plans to City of Miami, whether you're the architect or you work at the City of Miami, say, or the county or whatever, you use our software to get that tests done in seconds, which otherwise takes weeks or months to do.
So are cities customers as well, or no?
Cities, yep. Yeah. We've got
which is
several
fucking
dozen.
A terrible business.
Oh,
selling
so
to
hard.
cities is the worst.
It's so hard.
I mean, that's what we ended up with Gridix, and it was just like, fuck. It's like you got to deal with these procurement budgets, and 10 people need to approve it. Like it's a brutal business selling to government.
Everyone warned us how bad government contracting is, and I think they undersold how bad it is.
Yeah, I agree.
But you feel like once you're in forever? Like, is it pretty sticky?
Yeah, it's super sticky. That's the good part.
It is. It's sticky. You can build a moat around it, but you got to you have to have the capital to get you there, because
you need the staying power.
Yeah, because in like 6 months, a year in startup world is fucking forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't have the capital to take you through those fiscal year cycles, it can be brutal.
But Togal doesn't sound too much like a startup anymore with 10,000
but I'm
users.
talking about
Comply,
But Comply is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It can be subsidized from Togal.
yeah, exactly. So how many cities are you in with code comply now?
I think we're like 2-3 dozen. Yeah, we just won
In South Florida
just won-
mostly?
No, all over. Gosh, we're in
Yeah.
like a couple in Canada. We're looking at some in Dubai and UAE actually.
Interesting.
A lot of places have adopted a lot of the U.S. codes and standards.
Any South Florida cities about that?
There are a few South Florida cities, and we're talking to a few more right
Yeah.
now.
Do you feel like if you get like one city in like let's South Florida, the other cities start to adopt, is there some of that or not really?
I kind of thought so, but
Yeah.
they all have their own procurement. They
Yeah.
all got their like pride and their own like process and ego and everything else. And
It's insane.
in the beginning, I was so optimistic because every mayor and commissioner was like, "Oh my God, I need this. This is
Yeah.
great. Let's do it. We'll roll it out next week."
Yeah, right.
It's like 2 years goes
Yeah.
by and like we still don't have a demo because they so inefficient. So
Yeah.
Well, their job is to say yes to everything, and then when the underlings get it, it just gets caught in that.
Well, it's easier for them to say no than it is to say yes, right? When
Yep.
it gets to the bureaucracy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, look, I'm still optimistic. Like,
Yeah.
eventually AI is going to transform construction and real estate in a really big way.
Yeah.
Government's going to be the laggard, and there will be enough pressure eventually. And I think there will be cities that do stand out and start experimenting enough with AI because AI is really unbelievable for government. There's so many repeated processes,
Totally.
customer, constituent services and those kind of things that are just paperwork and monotonous stuff. All government should be 10x more efficient in the next 5 years. And look, it's not going to happen evenly, but I think there will be some standouts, and the money will follow those standout cities. If you can go guarantee an approval in 1 month, developers are going to go there, right? You just reduce your carrying costs dramatically.
Totally.
Right? So people are going to realize that soon.
Where else in real estate do you see AI making headway? Because there's a lot of buzz about it, but construction and development is notoriously slow to adopt new technology.
100%. I'm sure you saw the study McKinsey did and others, Austin Goolsbee, an economist, did, showing that over the last 50 years, there's been a 0% increase in productivity in construction over 50 years. Every other industry is up 2x, 3x, some up 10x. Construction's flat. So, yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, though. I do think construction is, I'm sure you guys would agree, is a lot more nuanced and detailed than most people give it credit for. They drive by, they're like, oh, you just stack some cinder blocks and those things just build themselves. Every building you see is different.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, unless it's like a tract home. But other than that, it's a different architect, it's different elevation, different soils, different materials, different finishes, different building code, right? Like everything about it is different. So we reinvent the wheel every time. So not only do I think materials and offsite construction are going to dramatically change, but AI is as well. And I believe in 3 to 5 years from now, if you want to go build a new building, whether that's a house or whether that's a condo or an apartment, you're going to go, hopefully to Togal, you're going to go on an AI platform and you're going to have 4 inputs. And you're going to type in the address of the property, you're going to put in the budget that you have, the style of construction, and then the use case. You want a 4-bedroom house, 4.5 bath, 2-car garage, and Coral Gables, Mediterranean style for $300 a foot, whatever. And it's 101 Main Street. And you go type that in, you're going to get a full set of working construction, 100% CDs, in a click of a button. And you're going to get that right away. So instead of waiting 12 to 18 months, going back with the designer and the architect and all this, and you're going to get it right away. And the reason I'm so confident is because we are already doing this today with certain trades. So if you sketch on that board right there, take a picture, upload it to Togal, I can give you the plumbing layout with really good certainty that's going to pass Miami-Dade code. Because if you think about it, that 4-bedroom house in the Gables, right? Once you have the bathrooms and the kitchen, the laundry room, there's only like 3 ways they're going to run the pipes. Right? There's not like an infinite amount of ways to do it. And the same thing.
Plus, nobody cares either. They're like, sure, great.
Sure,
It's
that makes
gonna pass
sense. Like
code,
there's a standard size, there's a run, a slope, a drain, a vent. Like you got that.
There's no like, oh, I don't like that pipe there. Let's move it over here. Like, no.
Right, like the electrical socket, like there's got to be a certain amount, right? The vents, right? Like everything is pretty standardized when you break it down per trade. And AI is really, really good at learning from hundreds of thousands or millions of documents, right? In our case, we have millions of documents now, and seen all sorts of variations. So now we can look at all these variations and apply it to your vision of that new house in Coral Gables and take all those learnings and bring it to you with the click of a button. The same way you do on GPT today when you've got an idea on a research paper or a speech you have to give, you give it some prompts and you get it instantly and it's infinite. Same thing's gonna happen in construction. So that fundamentally changes the industry.
But this for this to happen in 3 to 5 years, like there needs to be a major shift in government because
Government will be the laggard.
government's going to be the laggard.
I don't think so. Why do you need government to generate
Well-
CDs? Like that's
well,
To approve them.
Yeah,
to prove 'em.
And there's a lot of jobs there that people have right now that this is going to replace.
Yep.
And it seems like that to me is the biggest blocker there for this to happen.
I think it's such a fallacy, though, that these jobs are going to be replaced. Like there'll be. I mean, what do you think? This happens every 100 years. Like everyone was pissed about tractors because it's going to replace all the guys that were digging hoes for the corn. You know, and people were pissed about the printing press because it replaced all the people writing by hand the books. It's progression.
Yeah,
man.
horse and buggy, mad at taxis and cars.
I agree,
Yeah.
but man, I've my experience. I'm just beat up from critics and working with cities. I have zero faith.
I think the difference is this time around is the speed at which this is happening,
Yeah.
right? Industrial revolution, 30, 40, 50 years, right? People had more time. It was still rough, but it led to wars, right? It led to civil unrest and riots and protests. This time it's going to happen in 5 to 10 years max. And I think that's going to lead to a lot more unrest. I just don't see a way around that. I'm not saying on the other side of that isn't a rainbow and a great utopian society, but I think it's going to be very ugly getting there. And if government's not more involved, I think it goes sideways really quick, and you could end up with 10 trillionaires, some sort of overlords of AI that control so much information, so much power, that it will be hard to change that dynamic. And I think that's a really scary scenario.
Where do you think we end up with that? Do you think we got UBI coming in, or what?
Yeah, it's such a good question. In many ways, I don't know how we don't end up in some form of that. But you look at that, and that's just like socialism with a pretty, name. Really, is all it is.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people talk about it as let's look at it as universal basic services instead of just giving you X amount of money. That hey, you know what? We're going to have free healthcare. We're going to have awesome education, and that's going to be free. And we're going to have infrastructure and transportation. There's going to be certain things that are here. And that's subsidized, and it's so efficient to provide that. But the rest of it is up to you, and then keep that entrepreneurial capitalist spirit that I think we have to keep. We have to keep that mentality of growth and optimism and the capitalist spirit. So
I mean, it's human nature. That's what socialism always forgets.
They always forget it.
Human nature.
No matter what, you need purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can transition society's purpose from work and putting food on the table and taking care of your kids and providing a better life to all of a sudden this utopian world where now you're thinking about the meaning of life and
I'd be down, dude. I just wakeboard all the time. It's fine. I'm good. But yeah, it's a weird era to be. It's a really amazing era to be living in, but it's unprecedented. It's
it is
where are we going?
Yeah, on one hand, you wake up you're so excited about what's happening in our life. In the next 5 years, it's so many cool things. You think of quantum computing, you think of AI, right? What's going to happen with healthcare and longevity? All the experts are saying, basically, we're going to reach breakout longevity within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So for every year you're alive, by 2035, you're going to be able to extend your life by at least another year. That just transforms everything when people are living to 150 years old, right? Right now, the average age is 72 for men, right? 78, I guess. So much is changing. That on one hand, you're really excited about it, but the other side of that is really scary. And building a company like Togal, hey, it's AI, it's cool, it's innovative, but is there some kid in a garage somewhere that's building something better with some new AI model?
Probably, yeah.
Every business right now is completely, I think, susceptible to major disruption.
Do you guys have competitors right now?
Our two competitors are really legacy software, Bluebeam and on-screen takeoff, Plan Swift. Those are
I'm
really
familiar with Bluebeam.
Bluebeam, yeah.
But
they're the dominant one. And it's a super successful 25, 30-year-old system. And they haven't really adapted to, today's world. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they will. There's been some newer players that have launched, but nothing, I don't want to, nothing immediate yet.
Yeah.
Plus, you got some patents, so...
We do? Yeah, that'll be a whole
cease and desist
nother...
incoming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's always key to it, too. Something we kind of glossed over or haven't gotten to yet. You were appointed by President Biden to the White House Advisory Committee overseeing international trade.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, really cool. So, the backstory there is I got to know President Biden early on through some of my early donors here, actually a really good family friend that I went to school with at Palmer Trinity. And then they happened to be very close to the Biden family for decades. And so when I first started running for office, I'm 27, 28, and young Irish guy. Well, it turns out President Biden won the U.S. Senate when he was 29.
Oh, really?
So when we were introduced, we just had like a great bond right away. Like there was some, similarities there in stories, and he campaigned quite a bit for me. So anyway, I got to know him my first election, stayed in touch with him when I was in D.C. and he was vice president. And then when he ran for president, of course, I supported him. And, I wanted to obviously stay in the private sector. I wasn't looking for some full-time thing, but that was a great committee that I could keep my finger on the pulse of politics and still have public service, because my favorite part of politics is the policy, right? As dorky as that sounds, like I love the policy intellectual side.
Well, that's when
of
the rubber
it.
hits the road, right? Like that's where real
that's
change
the cool part.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this was a really cool opportunity where it was in Secretary of Commerce. It was all about business. Secretary Gina Raimundo, who's an awesome lady, and it was business leaders like head of Ford and some like major companies, Bain, and like these really cool companies were there. So I'm like this little like AI company or whatever, but like I got to be in the room with these like really cool leaders and travel the world. And it was all about promoting American businesses abroad. Like what can we do, trade or otherwise, to help American businesses grow? So yeah, it was a really cool opportunity I got to be a part of.
Did you get to make any changes or see anything interesting happen while you were there?
A lot of like policy, just sort of regulatory executive branch stuff that they could do. And the lasting ones are the legislative ones where you bring something to Congress and you promote it. A lot of time was spent talking about the CHIPS Act, where, obviously, especially you dial it back to 2020, this realization back then that, holy cow, NVIDIA, this chip war is really happening. And, depending how you look at it, many could argue that we're in this race with China. And that's powered by chips. And whoever has the most powerful chips and the most energy to power them could win. And anyway, Secretary Raimundo was very passionate, adamant about that. So, being part of those conversations, and there was ultimately some legislation passed. That was pretty cool.
How do you feel about all the tariff wars to these days?
Unnecessary distractions.
Yeah. Makes sense. I know nothing about international trade, so seeing all this, I really don't have an opinion because I don't know enough. Yeah. But someone like you might have a better idea of what all this is. Yeah,
look, I think there's everyone has a different style of doing things, right? And I think President Trump, and I guess dating back to his books and the art of the deal, is sort of famous for sort of these outlandish proposals and
then walking it back.
Then walking it back, but in his mind ended up with something. It's just a lot of unnecessary drama, especially in the world stage, and chaos. And so not the way I do things. Do we have bad trade deals, good things? Sure, of course we could have done things better. I think there's a lot of countries that were willing to do it without all the chaos, but we are where we are. So
yeah.
Let's take it back to Miami. Are you guys busy at Coastal?
Dude, so busy.
Is Miami still booming?
On fire. More. Every day it's more. Right when we think it's going to slow down because of tariffs or because of whatever the hell is happening, 2 more jobs sign up.
So you guys are doing. You said 90% of it is condos
high
at this
rise.
point. It's high rise.
High rise, yeah. Decent amount of commercial office space.
Office.
But a lot of condos.
You guys do any industrial at all?
Don't do much industrial.
Yeah. All right.
We do workforce housing, apartments. We have a division of single family homes.
Any retail stuff?
Retail in the sense of if it's retail of a building that we've built, right?
Gotcha.
But we don't really do the build outs. They're more of just sort of white or gray boxes.
And how about office?
Do some office, yeah. We got.
You guys doing any high rises?
We have 3-4 offices underway right now.
Really?
We're bidding on 3 or 4. We're doing Santander, downtown Miami.
That's a sick project.
It's a sick project. 2600 Biscayne. 1 Flagler for Steve Ross up in Palm Beach.
Okay.
We did some in
2600 Biscayne. Is that Fairholme?
If he used to own that site.
He used to own it. Okay,
Great
but he
memory.
sold
Bruce
it.
Berkowitz used to own that.
Edgewater was my zone when I was selling land in Edgewater, but I sold the Paraíso Bay site to Related, or part of it to Related,
Right.
and then 26th Street there was a condo site across the street that I sold, and I remember Fairholme had that site. But that building's really cool. I love that slant.
Yeah, architectonica.
Yeah,
So it's office below. and then 399 apartments above it.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's an empty parcel on the back that could be, more residential or whatever. So
I got a
it's
thing
cool
for
site.
slanted glass for some reason. I think it's super cool.
Yeah. It's cool. It's going to be a cool office building.
Yeah.
That whole area is on fire. I mean, everything is, right? But we're actually moving Coastal's headquarters to that building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're in Blue Lagoon, or what do they call it now, Waterford district by the airport. We're moving there now.
I live on 39th and Biscayne, so I drive by it every day.
Oh, okay,
when I
cool.
come down Biscayne to go downtown.
So you guys are busy.
We are busy. We are blessed to be busy.
Yeah.
Continuing to look at more opportunities and diversifying, but lucky to have a great team and great clients, and hopefully
interesting.
Florida keeps growing.
It's unbelievable, Miami. So I'm listening to this book right now. I love Miami history, and it's the year of dangerous living.
Okay.
It talks about 1980 Miami. Really, really interesting perspective on what happened in 1980 and how that was kind of a turning point for Miami. We had the Mario boat lift. We had the riots, and then just all the infusion of cash coming in from Colombia,
Right.
and then the building boom that affected Miami shortly thereafter. So if you get a chance, check it out, because it's really, Miami has come so far in such a short period of time.
Yep.
And it doesn't seem like it's slowing down.
No.
It's feeling like it's speeding up. All these policies from California just keep helping us out. Like these
around the world.
It's
right?
crazy.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Things are really, really going our way. So knock on wood, it continues.
So what's the deal with Togal.AI? What's the exit strategy here?
So actually doing a fundraise right now, like
Yeah.
I was saying, always raising money.
Yeah.
So here we are. So raising another round. We've hit a point where it's a very repeatable process, right? The sales team, and it's really working. People really like it. They use the shit out of the product. So now let's go scale this thing. So raising money to take this hopefully to the next level. So, who knows how big we can make it, but I think there's a very clear opportunity to grow this not only here, but internationally. Code comply, another huge opportunity. Governments are as inefficient as we all know. There's a big opportunity there. So hopefully we can time that right and find that openness in government. Exit strategy, I don't know. I mean, look, we're building toward that company that I just mentioned that I think transforms real estate. That to me is the bigger vision, and an ability to leave your mark on real estate. And if our company can help reduce costs of workforce housing by 20%, that's a big deal, right? And if you can reduce the time it takes to get a set of construction documents from 12 or 18 months to 2 days, you're going to reduce a lot of costs.
Yeah.
And I think what that enables is people to focus more on community building, on walkability and livability and sustainability and like all the things we want in a cool city. When you go to a cool city, like you vibe with it. Like I think Miami can do better in that way. Like I just think we could have more parks and green and like open spaces. And I think we could think more about like a city we really want to be in with like less traffic and a place you want to be that's more walkable. Miami, like we're on a really interesting trajectory right now, right? And the infrastructure is not keeping up, right?
No.
Whether it's the sewers, whether it's what's happening with climate change and water, it rains for 2 hours and everything's flooded. It's like, it's a joke right now. So I'm hoping technology enables us to spin more cycles focused on that kind of stuff.
I love that. And something else we haven't talked about is that you co-chair Coastal's philanthropic arm, Coastal Cares. So what do you guys do? What do you guys do with Coastal Cares?
As you can imagine, trying to give back as many places as we can. I'm on the board of an organization called Miami Bridge, homeless shelter for children. And we try to participate in as many activities, as reasonably possible. Rebuilding Together is another one we're really active in. We get a lot of coastal team members. To us, it's not just about the money, right? It's let's get our team to participate in a group activity and give back. So we do that a couple times a year. We'll get together and all rebuild a house together, fix it up for a family in need. Do a lot around education. University of Miami, we funded the School of Architecture there, funding the School of Building Construction there. Even though my dad didn't graduate college, he's still adamant that education is important, and let's help those and give some scholarships and place to learn.
Were you at the national title game?
I was.
Yeah. Big loss for the U, but
honestly, big win. The
big
season
win,
to me was better than expected.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
I mean, I think the team did great. Look, we had a chance to win, which is disappointing. What happened, the way it played out.
No, but they played great.
Indiana's a great team.
Yeah.
Great story. Mendoza, Miami. I wanted Miami, obviously, but it's better than losing to Ohio State or something, right? Put it that way.
Yeah.
Like if we had to lose, at least it's Indiana.
Yeah. You speak Spanish at all?
I lived in Spain, in Salamanca, for 6 months.
Oh, Salamanca's a cool town.
Dude, it's so cool. I love Spain. And so I was fluent then. And so I get one more of these and I'll be fluent again.
Pour 'em up.
We'll finish this interview in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'll start speaking Spanish too.
Yeah. Some personal questions here. You're married? You have kids?
Yeah, married. 3 years, no kids yet. Yeah.
Okay, no kids yet.
Yep.
Okay, so you're just
working on
practicing.
that.
Yeah. A lot of practice.
A lot of practice.
All right.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect. And you look like you're a pretty healthy guy. What do you do for exercise?
Yeah, I grew up playing football, baseball, right? So I love staying active. As I get older, obviously not doing those sports, so play paddle, play padel.
Okay.
With some buddies, try to do that. I've got this thing.
Is it paddle or padel?
Dude, there's such a controversy over this. I don't know.
Were you
do you have an
tennis
opinion? I didn't play tennis.
No.
But I love padel.
Yeah.
I have this tonal machine at home I use. Love that. I like going to the gym, but it's just, you end up talking the whole time and it's inefficient for me. You see too many people and driving and all that. So anyway, I got this machine in my house. I love doing that.
So you work out at home?
Work out at home.
I'm a work out at home guy too. It's so much more efficient.
Dude, I get the podcast on. Yeah. I can crank through it.
What podcast do you like to rock besides the Built World?
Other than Built World is Moonshots.
Okay.
Peter Diamandis, Alex Weisner Gross, Salim Ismail, whatever. And they got Elon Musk. They get some cool, like for the tech side of things, it's really cool. A16Z, the Andreessen Horowitz one, that's a cool one. There's a couple like AI SaaS ones, because look, I'm a new founder. Like, I don't know, what do I know about fucking startups and AI and SaaS? So I'm trying to really educate myself on what it takes to grow a SaaS business. So I enjoy listening to those.
That's cool. Yeah. Beach tennis. We're gonna get you out on the beach tennis court.
Okay.
Have you heard of beach tennis?
I've heard of it. I've not played.
There's they just opened up like 6 new courts on South Beach. I think there's like 20 courts.
What are the fundamentals?
So it's
you're not bouncing a ball.
No, you're not bouncing a ball. It started in Italy about 30 years. I think it started in the 70s.
Okay.
Huge in Brazil right now.
Okay.
And I really think this is like the next up and coming racket.
It's like tennis meets volleyball.
Yeah, beach volleyball.
But the net is low.
It's lower. It's lower than a beach volleyball.
Okay.
Same court dimensions.
I still haven't played, but I feel like I'd fuck
2-on-2?
up.
2-on-2. It's usually played doubles.
And what's the ball like?
It's a deflated tennis ball.
Oh, so it's like a padel ball, or even more deflated.
I don't know what a padel ball is, but it's pretty deflated.
Okay. So you can spike it.
You can spike it.
Do tall guys win a lot?
Tall guys have an advantage.
Do you get to set it like volleyball, or just back and forth?
No, just back and forth.
Got it.
I'm camping out on the net, spiking it.
I play up on 73rd Street.
Okay.
There's like 9 courts up there.
Oh,
Started about a year ago. I'm fucking addicted to this sport. I'm addicted. My wife's like, you got problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
Co-ed or?
It's co-ed.
It seems like a good problem.
You know, it's a total.
My wife and I will come join.
Yeah, it's a total vibe. Like everyone's got music. People are drinking beers. You know, it's like it's super
That's
fun,
awesome.
and it's a really just great sport to play, and you're playing on that soft sand, so you're actually getting a workout too.
Right.
So we'll have to get you up there too. If you're a paddle player, you're gonna enjoy beach tennis.
What's the racket like? It's strings or it's solid?
No, it's like a paddle record, but I think the dimensions are a little bit different.
Okay.
They're a little less thick, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Same idea.
They're gonna rock. You could probably use the same racket, but you know. They're gonna make you buy you a racket for $180.
Part of the scam
initiation. Well, cool. What else, Ben? I think that's it, right?
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was super cool, man.
Loved to hear your story. Loved hearing the construction techniques.
And so really love the two, different ways you're going with the software and the construction material. I just think there's so much potential on the construction side, so much. For both the processes of trying to get plans passed, but also on the actual physical construction of real estate, because neither have moved in a very long time.
We are overdue for change.
We're overdue for change. Yep. it's awesome to see that we got 2 companies out of Miami doing this. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Patrick.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
pleasure.
guys.
Awesome,
Congrats on
Patrick.
what you're doing as well.
Appreciate it, man. Have a great
Cheers.
evening.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.